And the Sylvanas might have been a surprise pick that Resurgence wasn't comfortable with. But here we go into the draft of game number 3 on Tomb of the Spider Queen. GaleForce Esports for the first pick, first ban here. Is it going to be the same pattern we've seen every other game?
I don't see
Probably.
why not.
Why,
I
why,
don't see
why
why
stop
not.
now, boys?
Yeah, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah. We're gonna see. Most likely, I personally would like to see a ban on Zagara. Okay, they do with the Murden instead, which means that they are gonna expect a Kel'Thas ban, and they want Zagara. Is what they want. Personally, I would actually like to see them not ban Kel'Thas because they really want Zagara, and actually letting them have the Kel'Thas and then take the Zag from them and dominate was a strategy that's really aggressive in a draft strategy, but it's one I personally love. There they go with the Toronto ban. I love that very much. So
Oh
then
yeah.
they're going to take the Kel'Thas because they expected it to be banned. There you go. I
Yep.
think it
And
will be a Zagara
Jaina?
response here. I think Zag Jaina is definitely the best response with Murden down.
I'm gonna try and predict this draft. You've done
Okay.
so far. You've done well so far. I'm gonna try and predict it. The Zagara Jaina here. I wouldn't be surprised to see
Throw.
Thrall. Yes, potentially a Thrall coming out here on the side, and maybe be potentially. Oh, not a Rainer. Probably one of their tanks.
Sylvanas.
Leoric?
Sylvanas.
Ooh, Sylvanas. All right. Yeah, how well they played our last game. I would absolutely believe that they want to pull that out again. In terms of tanks in this map, Leoric is particularly strong. Johanna, look for those. I would expect to see potentially an Uther ban here as well. And look for the melee assassins to. There's the Thrall. Yeah. Well, are they going to pick up Uther here as well, do you think?
I think they'll go either Johanna or Sylvanas. That one of
Yeah.
those is going to be banned, and they want to win the rotations.
Yeah.
I think they're going to prioritize one or the other. So I personally like Sylvanas more. They go with the Uther. I'm the worst person in the world. You win. I concede. Uther is going to be picked up to synergize. Personally, I don't think that synergy is needed that much. It does work really, really well, but I feel like winning the wave clear and the rotations is more important to me. So I would have prioritized that a little bit different.
Yeah, I feel like the supports in this game are actually, other than Tyrande, are actually in a really good spot right now. You can actually run a lot of them interchangeably, which I think is fantastic. I also agree, you didn't need the Uther here, and I've actually been finding Uther kind of underwhelming lately, just in terms of some of his play. I feel like, especially with the changes made in Malfurion and used in that last game, Hexo played an absolutely phenomenal job here. The ETC ban's coming out as well. I would expect to see a Johanna ban here, maybe, potentially, and if they don't want to deal with it, or
If Resurgence is smart, I think they're gonna take. I don't know. I don't like Sylv and Zag on the same team. I feel like it's too
yeah,
weird in team
they
fights.
fill the same role.
But at the same time, I'm kind of afraid of them letting GaleForce get it. If they got the Uther pick and they're gonna let him have Sylvanas, in this type of draft, I'm kind of absolutely terrified for Resurgence here. But we'll see what they end up going with here. I think we can expect Johanna without a doubt. Both of the tanks have been banned. They want to win the rotations. They're just gonna set it to leaving. It's actually a really beautiful ban on the ETC and taking Johanna here because then it removes all the good solo tanks, and then they've already got Thrall, so it's very unlikely to see a quad melee composition. I really like that out of Resurgence. Hopefully they pick a comp great against melees. So far they definitely have one. Falstad's been the go-to for everybody at this rotation. I wouldn't doubt if we saw that.
Johanna Rainer potentially here coming out for Resurgence. I wouldn't be overly surprised to see run the triple DPS. Not a bad job.
I would
in
put money
shredding
on
that.
Falstad before I would Rainer. There's the Sylph.
Well,
Thank you. I
Yeah,
like
Falstad
that
is
a lot.
banned, but yes, the Sylph.
Oh, my bad. You're right. Yeah.
So, yep, there it is. I'm one of those people who's still a fan of Rainer, even with the slight nerf. But these last two picks come in from GaleForce. Diablo, likely Leoric.
Vala, please don't. I feel like they're gonna Leoric, but I'm afraid of the solo Leoric tank. I think they're gonna Vala and then or Rainer. They might be pushing for a later game here. But I'm afraid their comp is going to struggle if they do pick Rainer. I think they're too passive in the early game because they're definitely losing the early game with this comp so far.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel potentially a slight chance of recovery.
Nice.
Oh,
Nice. I like it.
I was not expecting
making
that.
the bold move. All right, so they just went from not being able to keep up with the rotations to having kill potential as their answer. I really like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Kerrigan, haven't seen her for a while. Kerrigan Uther being one of the the more well-known combos of running that Divine Shield and the Maelstrom. So now he's got a few choices going into this. We've got the quad melee. with the Kael'thas in the background. That's definitely an interesting choice. If the amount of CC they've got going on right now, if Kerrigan can get a pick here, that person is going to die pretty much no matter what. Look for the Wailing Arrows and the Maws in the late game to try and counter that out. But overall, I actually really like this pick.
I think that I like it too. It's very
I
go
like
go
it for
go
the
go
hype.
go smash.
Whether it's going to be effective, we'll see. I like it for
It
the
can
hype.
be, honestly. They can face roll teams with that type of composition. The problem is if they don't face roll successfully, they're gonna probably clump, which is gonna lead to great maws, which is gonna lead to absurd counter engages. Like if they don't execute the first 3 seconds of a team fight properly, they're gonna lose every team fight. Not every team fight, but most of them.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I view their comp. It's not that it's definitely not bad by any means, but it's definitely high risk.
It's definitely game three of the finals.
It's definitely, and they're pulling out all the cards. That rogue triple or quad melee Kerrigan. I'm just so
Oh,
afraid of any kind of slow and then a massive maw. That's like what I'm so terrified of for GaleForce Esports. I just
we're
see
gonna
an
see a Ring of
Entomb.
Frost out of Maw. That would be fun.
I wouldn't doubt
I'm
it,
not.
honestly.
We probably won't see it, but anyway, the EU runs it. It's fun.
I wouldn't doubt it. It's not like what is Welly gonna do against this team? They have
That's actually a
four
good point.
melees. They have four melees. Ring
Yo,
of Loss is OP against melees.
Oh, throw a Wailing Arrow on top of that bad boy. Ooh.
Ooh, it's dirty in
Ooh.
here now.
It's getting nasty. All right, I dig it. Before we go into this last game, though, guys, I want to give a big shout out to our sponsors, Red Rook, for helping us put this tournament together. The winning team of this game gets $100, which is pretty fantastic for an amateur team. Also want to give a big shout out. All of us here at Divergent Gaming, we love Heroes of the Storm. We love putting this together for you guys. Also, if you guys are interested in getting involved in this, check us out at Sestolo.com. We have a crowdfunding campaign that you guys can put some money towards. Helps us out, helps us make these tournaments even bigger and better. And again, Dread, thanks for casting here with me. It's been an absolutely fantastic time going into this last game. So I'm ready to see a crazy game of Heroes of the Storm in the grand finals of the Divergent Gaming Open. I can do it, guys. There we go.
Here we go. Again, the draft is definitely the most interesting draft I think of the day. I really like that pickup. What we need to see from GaleForce to be successful in this team, in these team fights, at least for the early half of the map. I really am afraid of their kill potential if they don't get kills, right? Because they have decent wave clear, but what is really crucial, I feel like, is if they aren't successful keeping up with the wave clear and they make bad rotations with the Kerrigan, I'm afraid that they might not end up getting the lead that they need with this type of comp. And so that's what I'm going to be keeping track of. Definitely the most here tonight. Is how
GaleForce is running the get ahead or lose comp.
Exactly. I that might be a bold statement, but it's not. It's not totally wrong. They definitely need to get some kind of advantage somewhere, whether it be picks or anything else. The Kerrigan play can come out at any point, though, to make a huge comeback. She's such a playmaking hero overall. But again, hopefully I really like to see Kerrigan making a counter rotation rather than following Resurgence left and right here. But here we see on the blue trunks we have Resurgence, we have Shot going to be in the Zagara, Skull Kid going to be playing on the Sylvanas here, Daihu's going to be on the Johanna, Rixie going to be with the Karazim, and Killick on the Jaina.
And coming in on the red side, we have GaleForce Esports with Bond Beast on Leoric, Eomeo on Kael'thas, Mysticles on Kerrigan, Howwin on Thrall, and Hexo on Uther. Gonna watch for them to probably go down and stop the creep spread coming up from the Zagara here. Watch them to pressure in that bot lane and not allow her to get her creep highway set up here. I would expect that, and yeah, there they are posturing a little bit. No, actually not asserting too much dominance over that. So interesting choice for them.
Yeah, I definitely would have liked to see them worry about the creep a little bit more. It seems like they know they have the advantage, but they aren't willing to kind of roam to try and find their opponents. A little bit interesting there. Here they go. They're winning the wave clear here, and really, really strange laning situation. So I want to talk about this because it's absolutely crucial to this game. What they're running right now is something I would never suggest to any new players. It's a 2-1-2 that's built around bottom being the threat lane and top having wave clear. So what this is a beautiful strategy. is they know that this 4-man squad needs to get kills. And so what they're going to do to abuse this is they're going to keep track of them as best they can by having 2 people in each lane. They aren't going to risk deaths. And the minute they show on bottom or on top, they're going to push as hard as they can in the other lane, rather than leaving one person. It's a very unique strategy, but with Sylvanas and with Zagara and Jaina, you have enough wave clear to get away from it. That is what their strat is there. Beautiful double leap from Mysticles to get a hook there, or a combo there, but they aren't going to get too much out of it. Look at this. The minute they show top, look at bottom. Just done.
Oh, yeah.
This is a very rare strategy. This is why I'm so excited.
GaleForce has no idea how to react to this. They're floundering. They don't know. What do you do against this? You've got to go down to pressure, but then lose.
But the minute you do that, they're going to pressure top lane. This is a very rare strat, and I've only been able to actually execute this myself, at most 5 times in my entire gaming career. So that's why I'm so excited to see this strategy. The minute they show bottom, look at that, boom. Top is getting pressured as hard as they can. Resurgence showing their experience here with this kind of shot calling. Really like this coming out from them. One of the few maps that they can actually get away with this strat too. They know they're on the upper half, so guess what? Bottom is going to be looking to apply pressure wherever they possibly can. Keep in mind, at level 1, with the wind was taken from Sylvanas rather than Barb Shot, I think Barb Shot would have helped their push a little bit more, but again, look how passive this is played up top. They know the threat is up here, and look at bottom. That's where the aggression is going to be.
Interesting choice to swap out the Thrall and the Kael'thas here. Maybe they're thinking that Kael'thas has a bit more of a more safe poke and more ability to kind of keep those at bay. And rotation is kind of coming down. They're going to try and clear out this creep there. Hexo actually missing his W there, so not going to get that creep tumor. Keeping this creep in check is actually going to be a big deal for these rotations because vision is so crucial with the way they're executing the strategy. And I love the fact that they had all of like a minute to come up with this. Unless this was planned from the start in this draft, they had like a minute to counteract this ridiculous pick comp coming out from the way of GaleForce Esports. So absolutely props to them. This was a fantastic response to this.
Absolutely, and they're definitely playing it properly right now. They have about a half-level lead, and look at this. They know they're on the upper half of the map. They're going to take Giants, which is going to force another rotation out of GaleForce Esports that isn't getting the picks that they want. I'm in love with this strategy. Like I said, it's very rare that you get away with this strategy. It's a very unique drafting situation, so definitely shout out to Resurgence for understanding when they can use that type of strategy to gain an advantage here. They see him on bottom. I'd like to see a little bit more aggression on top. They haven't done as much on top as I'd like, but those Giants should be a solid indication. Oh, Shot's going to actually get caught out here. So that will be the first pick going in favor of GaleForce Esports with their early game composition. Top lane hasn't done anything with those Giants being on bottom. There they do get the first turret, but they haven't done as well on top as I'd like to see out of this 2-1-2. Like I said, it is a unique strategy, but they do have the weaker 2-on-2 up here. What I actually would have preferred to see from them in this decision-making is actually have Sylvanas and Zagara split. I think putting them in the same lane made it to where they had too much eggs in the bottom lane basket rather than splitting it up dead even. But again, the fact that they even recognized the strat was a viable situation here was awesome.
Yeah, I feel like the decision-making was definitely based in the fact that... Sorry, just froze for a second. I think the decision-making was definitely based on the fact that both of those heroes are more apt to escape. Shot on that creep is moving a little bit faster, and Skull Kid does have that, his talent to be able to get away. So I feel like that might have been partially due to that. Trying to put Jaina down there potentially could have been a little riskier for her, or the fact that they just wanted an absolute insane run and push.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. And here we see, I feel like this is really smart decision making from GaleForce. They're good job with that hyper aggression, patience on the combo from Kerrigan. Really well done. They're doing exactly what they need to do now. Honestly, they've had a solid response to this comp. Granted, they didn't get the picks that they wanted. The minute they win the turn-in, keep in mind the 2-1-2 sucks at getting turn-ins, which is what they did. They concentrated on winning the turn-ins because they dominate the rest of the map. But then, not only did they do that, they forced on bottom as hard as they could, and they're grouping with a 3-1-1, which is allowing them to then push everything to max power with that 3-man being aggressive as they can. Keeping Kerrigan a part of that 3-man push was absolutely crucial to snowball this lead in their favor. And here we go, a level advantage going in favor of GaleForce Esports here.
they've recovered all the structural disadvantage that they were at. They've now completely negated with that first turn-in. Those web weavers were absolutely massive, getting probably a lot more done than potentially they should have. The aggressive rotation there on Zagar to pick her off, the Mysticles, the play to not blow the combo and potentially mess up the chain CC was absolutely phenomenal. Great play from them to come out. That fort's gone. They're actually in a structural advantage coming out, and considering how that game started, Shot's actually going to get engaged on again. Shot's positioning here. They've just been capitalizing on it. AO noticing lots of damage to the backline though. Skull Kid being super aggressive. Ball and Beast is going to come in here though. I think Skull Kid, able to get out though. So Mysticles is going to potentially turn to go back in here.
It is a 4v3.
Yep, but there they go. Nice stun coming up for the Unstoppable popping. Just
They're about to hit 10.
And there it is. And that was 30 gems on Daihu. That is an absolutely crucial play, and they're going to guard that. Note that Hexo is standing watch. They don't want any chance of Rixie to come in and pick up those gems. Great play coming out. And they're a whole level ahead.
Yeah, and now that 30 gem deny was actually what's going to make this game almost not impossible to come from, but very, very, very difficult. So they did get the first turn in, and yes, that snowballed their comp, and yes, they do have a snowbally comp, but the counter strategy here for Resurgence is very much, okay, well, we're just going to turn in after, and then we're going to make up for it later, because we have such a good siege comp. But guess what? You just lost 30 of your gems. That was a majority of the gems that they had on their comp, which now sets them so far behind on these rotations. And here we go, GaleForce, realizing they have 10 advantage, they have the turn in, they're going to force as hard as they possibly can here. Great decision making coming out from them.
Absolutely. They're playing aggressive. They drafted an aggressive comp, and they're playing aggressive. So many teams draft these hyper-aggressive comps and then don't execute it. They wuss out, and they don't really execute it to their full potential. No. They are playing ham of the biscuit right now. This is their second set of web weavers before at the 7-minute mark. GaleForce Esports is absolutely playing a commanding presence in this game, and I got to admit, the plays from Mysticles coming out here to choose those engages, absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely, and they got mid fort. Now they're going to rotate top to ensure that they get top fort as well. Bottom isn't going to do much because of the positioning on it, but Ball and Beast is a little out of position. He will survive there, and they're going to try and force a fight, I believe, here on the top fort here. It's all about the Kerrigan engage right now. Keep in mind they are split. Also, Divine Palm was the ult taken for Karazim here. Shot's trying to flank, and that's a big mistake. Here we go. Slightly out of position. Good two-man combo, but the Maw is going to come as the disengage. The three-man silence, very well done. Big Blizzard to follow up, but I don't think it's going to be enough. There goes the Sunder. It's going to get on one target. D-Shield is going to be a little out-timed, but Shot trying to get a flank there on that Kerrigan in order to get a really good Maw, but she got sighted, and it led to losing his life and 4 other members of his team. Is this going to be a boss? Bottom isn't dying fast enough. Bottom isn't dying fast enough. If Bottom died a little bit faster, Boss would have actually, I believe, been the call in that situation.
Yeah, you know what? If they get 13 here, if one of these towers goes down and they get 13, I think they could possibly do it. If this tower, yes, I think they will do it.
No, they're not. It's risk. It's so risk. This is their game to lose. This is their game to lose,
true.
and that's the
so
place
true.
to do it. If Bottom had instantly died there to that front wall, it was drained on ammo. But I think they actually would have taken the boss.
They had no Wailing Arrow. They had no Maw. I mean, I think they could have potentially done it, but definitely the smart play, the safer play coming out from GaleForce Esports. They're absolutely playing fantastic right now.
Yeah.
Obviously, you want to see the gutsy play, but now they're being very selectively aggressive, which I think is exactly how they need to do this. They're advancing on creep, doing a very good job to try and take that down as best they can. They know they have level 13. They know that there's nothing that Resurgence can do to stop this right now. They're playing with all the confidence in the world, and they should be, because they're in a pretty commanding position, 2 levels ahead right now, and they're going to pressure this bot keep.
Yeah, I like this decision making. They just hit their power spike when it comes to having KT on their team, so they're going to try and capitalize on it. They have Camp pushing on mid, which is going to threaten that front wall there, so I really like this decision making. I just hope they don't go too aggressive, because if they do, this could be a really good counter engage, which we see possibly right here.
And the fantastic silence going on there, making it so Hexo can't pop off that Divine Shield. There it goes. Now finally, the Divine Palm going to hit that, but also going to go down. Daihu taking lots of damage. Hexo in the backline. Skull Kid is not going to get the kill. Great job from Mysticles. And what a great turn. That Wailing Arrow almost won them that fight.
Yeah.
Able to blow up Brawl to start that. The Divine Shield was not able to get out in time, but they barely, by the skin of their teeth, were able to turn that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Great job. That was
It was very close to being very ugly, really quick. And like I said, I was worried about their overcommitting to that situation, and they definitely almost did. Bottom keep going to be half health here. They are going to walk away. The dismount coming out from the E there on Johanna, but it's on Leoric. It's not going to matter. He does pop E a little bit early, but he's just using it to be able to mount up here. When it comes to the gems here, though, I believe we have mostly stacked on GaleForce here. Or no, I lied. Sorry about that. Is actually... No, it's
Nope,
on
once it's back on
GaleForce.
Yep.
So GaleForce has a majority.
Though I believe that Resurgence does have enough to turn in. I miss the days where they just told us that and we didn't have to do math. Caster math never ends well, but Howwind's taking lots of damage up in this top line. You're going to see the Envenom going down, but not quite enough. Hexo's going to come in and heal him up. I think they do have enough to turn in.
Yeah, that's going to be a turn in.
Yeah.
All right, so this turn-in is actually not going to do much. This is where what we need to see out of Resurgence right now is a forced fight. Their ultimates are about to be back up, and the minute they are, they need a force. They're clearing out bottom giants to make sure they get maximum value out of the tomb or the spider, sorry, in every lane. But if they don't pick this fight before they hit 16, they're not going to be able to team fight for a very long time. They aren't even actually going to be able to push with their own web weavers here. You see smart decision making from GaleForce, realizing they don't want to take a fight while they're on even playing field. They move to bottom, so they rotate top to answer. The minute that Resurgence rotates up, GaleForce goes, we aren't going to take this fight. We're going to move bottom. They do not want to risk a fight until 16. Very smart choice from GaleForce Esports there.
What a heads up play, knowing that, you know, we have the advantage. Let's not push it. We want to get 16. We're closer. We're going to be 16 when they're 14. There's no reason for us to fight here. They shred these web weavers.
Yeah.
So
this is, oh my goodness, that was almost
this could be
really
huge. Daihu coming in.
Yep.
And Aomayo's going to get caught out. The insta D shield though going to go out, but Jane in the backline, the Maw catching too. Aomayo's going to do lots of damage. The chain bomb's going to be massive. That Maw, absolutely huge. But I think they turned the Blizzard. Fantastic job. The Palm's going to go off. Mysticles, I think, is probably going to go back in here if I had to guess. And fantastic job. That D shield won them that.
That was Hexo. Hexo actually just evolved to a god within like 3 seconds.
Absolutely.
The minute that arrow came out, he D-shielded before the silence hit, which 100% ensured they stood a chance in that team fight. That was one dead kill Thos, and that would have wiped that entire team fight. Smart rotation, by the way, coming out from Resurgence, realizing they can probably take that fight. It just didn't work out that well, so shout out to Hexo for that D-shield. They take the smart choice. They're actually going to start the boss here. Keep in mind, no Cataclysm, no zoning tools, no Maw as well, so this is a blow-for-blow fight coming out of them, and they have Thrall here just tanking the boss, so they aren't going to be too weak here. Gonna get the cap. What I would like to see here is actually not pushing with this boss, maybe capitalizing on mid-front wall. Do they have a full turn-in? Okay, the full turn-in is very smart there. Then that's
I actually would have preferred that they started going down and doing that a little bit sooner, but so that it pushed a little more concurrently with the boss. But, you know, all things said and done, it's still a boss and a turn-in. They're just still doing pretty well. Kerrigan's going very aggressive, though. His team's not there. Mysticles, you're playing a little bit far up there, but not going to get punished for it. So, Shot also actually cut out a little bit of position here. That Tornado giving him some trouble. That's actually going to cause him to almost go down there. That was a Tornado, almost MVP.
Yeah.
And looking, they're just going to pressure this here. Phoenix is going to go down. I don't think that there's really a lot that Resurgence can do here. Mysticles is going in. Going to miss his combo, though, but the great D-shield. That Blizzard's going to do absolutely nothing. Lift on Rick. Oh, actually going to cancel out the Sundering in the backline, though. Hexer taking lots of damage, and here comes the 4-man Wailing Arrow. Leo in the backline, not going to do a ton. Great turn, actually, coming in here. Outwind's taking lots of damage, and he's chasing on Skull Kid, but so far... No, they are going to turn this. I had a thought for a second they might be able to, but potentially they are. Outwind taking a decent amount of damage. Chain bombs are going to be huge.
Yeah, it's going to go down. One big chain bomb. There it was. That was a decent one. There we go. Here goes the full turn. And this is going to be potentially game. They keep in mind this is only going to be a Monk and a Zagara. They realize that it's risk to defend here. They do have a Maw. They're going to take one keep here. They're going to look for a second keep here. Keep in mind, Maw is up right now. You see Shot aggressively positioning. He wants to try and get a Maw to confirm one of these 2 kills here. Bottom, they're actually going to let bottom do its thing. Interesting decision making considering how weak it is. It might go down on its own. I don't think.
Yeah,
it will. It got blasted. Actually, Shot's going to die right here. Oh, the dog actually barely missed.
If that had connected, he was done.
And now this game is legit at this point. All it's going to be is we see GaleForce Esports. They are so close to 20. All they're going to do is wait out till 20. They aren't going to stop a single team fight at any point, even if they turn in. They're going to wait till they get 20. Then they're going to try and look for any map objective like the Web Weavers. Anything they can do to try and get 20, and then once they have 20 to end the game. And it's right now it's their game to lose. It's very hard to lose a 3-level lead. Honestly, it only takes throws, really. They only have a small time frame for Resurgence where they can try and force this fight. You see Daihu, they know that they have to fight right now. Look at this, Daihu automatically going to check the Knights, knowing that's where they're at. They're gonna, I hope they back away from this team fight, but it doesn't look like that's gonna be the case here. GaleForce Esports risking it, moving in. The D shield. This is going to be huge Maw. There it is. 3-man Maw over the wall. Daihu is very, very low, though. Palm is going to come out.
Palm, and there's the 3-man Blizzard in the root. Hexo is still alive somehow. When turning this, how did they survive that?
Chain bomb.
That was absolutely incredible. The just not quite enough damage coming out from Jaina, and Killick's getting chased down here. Ball and Beast is being aggressive. Hexo trying to get him the healing, and there's the turn. Mysticles is going to jump on this. That unless just can jump away there, but I think this is probably going to be GG.
Yeah,
We've got Siege pushing the bot lane. We've got 3 keeps down. The Royal Charge is coming in, and I think this is going to be the end of game number 3 between GaleForce Esports and Resurgence at the Divergent Gaming Open. GG is called. What a great series coming up from these 2 teams.
Absolutely. No, that was really good. That last team fight, I was so scared for a moment until, especially with that Maw over the wall, but really, there just wasn't enough damage to deal with the chain bomb coming out from Kael'thas there. Kerrigan actually 1v1 shot. He was a walking Maw at that point because of how much pressure he applied to him, and so that was really well done from Mysticles. Really good game overall. I personally, I was more impressed. I know this might sound stupid by the 2-1-2 decision than anything else that entire game. It didn't work out very well, and I think it was the wrong map to pull that strategy on. I'm not going to say which ones, but there are better maps to pull that strategy on the smaller maps. The reasoning why it's so weak on that map is what we saw. You can't turn in. It's very hard to turn in, I'll say, because the opponents are constantly dominating each one of the turn-ins, and that map also snowballs very heavily against you, right? So you can't risk giving up one map objective. So that's kind of what they did there. But either way, shout out to Resurgence for being willing to take that kind of bold of a strategy. It didn't pay off for them, but then also GaleForce Esports, Hexo for the legendary Divine Shield.
That reaction time.
Yeah,
just
that was
phenomenal.
really well done.
Yeah, I gotta admit, I have not seen this particular lineup from Resurgence. This is their first time in doing the Divergent Gaming Open, and they came in and made it all the way to the finals. So absolutely props to them. They showed us, a great night of games. Actually, I think this is probably the best night of games we'd ever seen here at the Divergent Gaming Open, at least as long as I've been involved with it. Absolutely, there weren't any blowouts. All these games were phenomenal.
Yeah.
Overall, just, I feel like the level of amateur play is just stepping up a little bit, and some of these teams are coming in, and I feel like these are some teams that we could potentially see move on to the Pro League.
Yeah.
And some of the, they've got a lot of top end players, and, a couple teams just tighten up a few things. But overall, the shot calling, the decision making, I think that's what impressed me the most tonight.
I agree.
Was just consistently solid decision making. And these teams, the rosters haven't been around for a large amount of time. Some of these teams are relatively new, and the trust I felt that they had there, and I got to admit though, the trust that GaleForce Esports has in Hexo is absolute. Going into those, Kerrigan went in with no fear, knowing that her Uther had that, and I think just Hexo definitely showing why he's one of the better support players on these teams right now.
No, I agree very much. They played it very well. Like I said, I agree with you. I think the shot calling and the decision making here today was some of the most impressive that I've seen. I would be willing to say that even some of the decision making made at this tier would be able to compete with the decision making at the pro level. I feel like after watching the Heroes Rising tournaments, depending on the team in the game, where I felt like I saw way more errors in the decision making there than I did here today, especially with GaleForce and Resurgence. Both of them did phenomenal the entire day. And definitely shout out to GaleForce. I feel like they maybe round one, game one at least, they kind of showed a little bit of weakness in their play, but then their drafts in game 2 and 3 I feel like really stood out, obviously with the Kerrigan and also bringing the Sylvanas into play, kind of making Resurgence really afraid of it and picking it themselves and having a little bit of a weaker time here. So really well done by them. Impressed across the board. So and then again, I want to say thank you to everybody tuning in here tonight, supporting not only the scene, but then also me and Inverum and everybody, all of Divergent and Redwook and everything else. So thank you very much for each and every one of you. And do you have anything you want to throw out before?
Sure. Well, just where can people find you before we head out here?
You can find me guys at on Twitch. I'm twitch.tv/dreadnought_heroes, and my Twitter you can see down below. It is @TempoDread.
Fantastic. You guys can also check me out on Twitter at Inverum_Hots. Be sure to go over to Dread's channel, though. Give him a like on Twitch. Does some awesome streaming. Definitely some of the more educational content that we see here in North America. So if you guys want to learn how to improve your play, definitely definitely go watch him. And overall, it's just a great night of heroes. So I think that's probably where we're going to sign off right now. Thank you again, everyone, for so much for coming out and supporting us here at the Divergent Gaming Open. And we will see you next week. Have a great night.
All right, later, guys.